sure if you guys didn't take a look at it already, we had the cool discussion about the James Bond franchise in general. So I was sitting down and was trying to think to myself personally what my top three, because I'm going to do this with my cousin E here. We're going to do the top three James Bond movies and top three James Bond the actors. So from like kind of how my experience is from beginning to end, from number three to number one, I would say my number one favorite, well, my number three favorite is I would either say it's A View to a Kill or For Your Eyes Only, just because A View to a Kill has Stephen. Why I always get his name wrong? More cowbell. I need Stephen.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. Yes, Christopher Walken as fucking Zorin, like the billionaire, psychopath clone baby, and Mayday. Also, it's one of my favorite for Roger Moore in general. So I would say number three is definitely A View to a Kill. Number two would have to come to, I would say, License to Kill. It has like a fantastic soundtrack, and it has like a really unique like take on the whole Bond thing, because I always felt Timothy Dalton did Bonds different than everyone else. So like he's definitely one of my favorite Bonds. But Living Daylights is A View to a Kill is my number two, and my all-time favorite James Bond has to be Goldfinger. I mean, the soundtrack is so iconic. Pussy Galore is in it. Sean Connery Bond, he's classic. Even though he's not my favorite, I think Connery is still a very stoic character. He plays it very well. So those are my top three: Goldfinger, A View to a Kill, and why'd I just fucking forget about it? Wait, what did I say? A View to a Kill, Goldfinger,
and License to Kill.
And License to Kill. Yeah, okay. There's ones. My favorite Bonds of all time, from number one is Roger Moore, then Pierce Brosnan, and then Timothy Dalton. I don't know. I didn't want to really bump Connery out, but for me, I enjoyed their performances a little better. So what's your favorites? Your favorite, I guess, three favorite movies?
My number one movie is Thunderball. Simple reason: hollowed out volcano layer and a ninja army.
Ooh, with ninjas versus in a volcano layer. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
A volcano layer.
If whatever you want to say about the negatives about the movie, hollowed out volcano. First time it's been seen.
That definitely smooths over white yellow face.
It really does. Second is from Russia with Love, because he slaps bitches and throws Shaw off a goddamn train.
And he is like the original anti-Bond. Like
he's just doing the movie's hot.
Grants,
real hot shit.
And if you guys don't know, that's definitely fucking Quint from fucking Jaws 1.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then, actually, excuse me, Thunderball was the underwater fight.
Underwater fight.
You Only Live Twice would be my number three.
Ooh.
That's with the hollowed out volcano.
You only live twice.
Thunderball is the fucking underwater jetpack.
Or so it seems.
And number two.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed the pattern on my list, my number one is Sean Connery, and it will always be Sean Connery, because Sean Connery is the man.
So wait, you say it's Thunderball?
It's Thunderball, From Russia with Love, You Only Live Twice.
All Connerys. All in the 60s ones.
All the ones that it's a grand spectacle of magic. Of just beautiful magic. Everything else is just like, okay, what did Connery do? Let's just do a different version of that. Or we got a better budget, and we got better technology. Let's just redo what Connery.
Let's just redo what Connery did.
That's pretty much what happened.
All right,
If you look back on everything else, it's like, okay, what did they do? Oh, You remember those great sets from the '60s? Let's try and rip those off.
Connery did it.
Connery did it.
So the your top three Bonds of all time.
Sean Connery.
Number one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's number one. I would have to say Timothy Dalton number 2 and Pierce Brosnan is number 3.
Our list is pretty close, so you keep knocking my boy Roger Moore.
Well, Roger Moore is too nice for James Bond.
Oh my God,
he's just too nice.
He was good, and
all right, and I mean, and he never really introduced himself as James Bond. He was always like, what was his other name? Like Bixton Bilberby or something.
You mean St. John Smythe?
St. John Smythe, yeah. Jesus,
that was only in one movie.
And Bond, for God's sakes, doesn't wear bell bottoms. How many times did he rock bell bottoms?
That was in A View to a Kill.
No, it was more than one. No. More than one Bond where he was rocking bell bottoms, and it's not cool.
Maybe for your eyes, no.
It ain't cool.
No.
I mean, the only Roger Moore that I enjoy is the Man with the Golden Gun.
Yeah, Man with the Golden Gun would have been on my top 3 if I really gave it a chance. Like, but I mean, I feel what you mean. I love Roger Moore, and like for me, his like play on everything was like great. Big shout out to George Lazenby and on Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's the Bond that he gets married in. I love Our Majesty's Secret Service. The soundtrack to that is probably one of the more craziest of all of them. And like just the visuals and shit is almost like Illuminati type. So like I would definitely say like I wouldn't say George Lazenby is one of the better ones because he's only played in one movie. He was the only Bond that did one movie, but he was good. And I would definitely be remiss if I didn't shout him out. But I mean shit, even my favorite, I would say from my favorite, the soundtracks and everything, I would say Tomorrow Never Dies is like my second favorite. Then, of course, Goldfinger, that opening soundtrack is ridiculous. And fucking A License to Kill, because A License to Kill was produced by fucking Patti LaBelle, and that shit sound like a fucking beast. Like, you could play A License to Kill right now in your house, and you go... Hey baby, what you gonna like? Come on! I was like, yo, that's probably like the most iconic.
He has a license to kill. And he's only aiming for your heart.
Aiming for your fucking heart, baby. And I mean, like, if you haven't noticed, a lot of what we're talking about and been talking about has nothing to do with the Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, or Spectre. I just don't find Craig to be a good Bond. And
well, it's a different. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of theirs, and I think it's a different sort of Bond. And it's a modern sort of Bond, and they're trying to figure out how to bring him to this new generation of people.
Aren't you so generous calling them new generation of people?
Well, there is a new generation of people. That's just what it is. I mean, a very good thing to really think about is that we're probably the last people to really grow up watching these old Bond movies before there were really new Bond movies. Because remember, there's a big gap between Dalton and Brosnan. And when I started watching James Bond, it was the reruns and the stuff that my parents were showing me. And there was no James Bond for about 10 years, from almost 89 to almost 95. So that's a good 7 years where are they still making James Bond?
Well, let's put it this way. License to Kill was Timothy Dalton's last Bond appearance, and that was in
89.
Yeah, that was in 1989. The next Bond was Pierce Brosnan's first GoldenEye, and that was 95.
Yeah. So there was a good, and it really was a question as whether or not, because at that time, Berlin Wall fell. So what is Bond in a world where there's no Russians? So
that surprisingly enough, the first Pierce Brosnan about Russians. GoldenEye was definitely about Russians.
So I mean, I was and I was introduced to James Bond through the Sean Connery movies because my parents liked the Sean Connery movies, and Sean Connery to me is the coolest Bond. By far, there's nobody that has the type of style that he had. and everybody else is a performance is a performance that is completely and directly influenced by his performance, whether it's in the
Pierce got swagger, baby.
well, either it's the
Pierce got swagger.
direction, the exact opposite direction, or something in imminent. I mean, because Pierce has swagger, but if you look at Pierce, like the stuff that he does, like you compare it to the fucking Sean Connery, it's like, okay, yeah, he's like that walk right there. That's a Sean move.
That's Connery move.
Oh, he's just gonna smooth in and try and just steal the bitch. That's a Sean move. And they're able to, dress Sean in a very sort of masculine but graceful manner, and with great style. And
if I had the editing tools, I would show you right now the fucking onesie he's wearing in fucking I believe it's Goldfinger, the crushed blue onesie with the zip up in the front. Yeah, guys, watch the opening the GoldenEye. He's not that suave. Not everything he was wearing was that suave.
It worked.
he was getting a back rub by Dink then. So,
He was on vacation. He was on holiday, is what they call it.
You know what?
He was on holiday.
All right. Well, you got what we had to say. Real quick, top 3 soundtracks if you had to guess.
Well, Thunderball, Tom Jones. What I love about that song, because you don't know if he's singing about James Bond or number 2.
Yeah, even that, or when he's talking about, it's like he gives more, so
others can get less. Like, you don't know if he's talking about James Bond and the villain.
They call him the winner that takes all. Yeah. Fucking,
and he strikes like thunderbolts.
She always runs while others walk.
It's great. It's larger than life.
Yeah. Awesome.
I would say, Goldfinger is a very close number 2. Shirley Bassey and her pipes.
Goldfinger.
Diamonds Are Forever. Diamonds Are Forever for number 3.
Diamonds Are Forever? Yeah. I mean, I would do an honorable mention.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah. They won't leave you. Yeah. I'll give, like, credits to A View to a Kill, because I always like that soundtrack. It's like, dance into the fire. One final kiss is a view to a kill. And Skyfall, I thought had the Adele and Jack. John Black?
No, you're thinking of the one with Jack Black and Alicia Keys is Quantum of Solace. Adele was Skyfall.
No, because it goes when the sky falls.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
That's Adele.
That one's decent.
Well, I'll give a shout out to was it Sheryl Crow for Tomorrow Never Dies?
That's why I said that's on my list. Tomorrow Never Dies.
And Garbage for World Is Not Enough. That was also another.
Yeah, there's a lot of like oily chicks in that one.
That's because it was all about the oil.
It was about the oil pipelines and stuff. Like,
great.
Shit, even a huge shout out to, like I said, Her Majesty's Secret Service has one of the best openings I find for Bond, just because it's the symbols and everything in it is ridiculous. Like they start the girls like away from each other, and then they go into like poses and they move it together and they're like sideways, and it's like a perfect emblem. If I could make an emblem, I would make that emblem. It's like 2 girls kneeling naked with the tridents and like crazy cavalry hats, like. Do yourself a favor. Look up the opening to fucking Her Majesty's Secret Service. Do yourself a favor. Just do it. So, I mean... Exactly. So, I just wanted to get this out there because, like, of the new Bond Spectre's out and...
Came out yesterday. We haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
So we were supposed to see it tonight, but we got sidetracked.
Procrastination is 9/10 of the law.
I'll go check a matinee.
Yeah. So I mean, in reality, guys, I'm talking all from a place of love. I don't like the new Bonds, and I'm not a fan of Craig, but I love this franchise so much that like talking about it always makes me happy.
Well, the beautiful thing about this is that, and I think this is the when you step back and think about James Bond as a whole, this sort of period of the franchise, it's not going to last forever. None of them do. And I think in a couple of years, you may look back and have a sort of different tinge to it because it's, okay, this was one interpretation of the character. And Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think his movies aren't fun. I don't think his movies. To quote what Ian Fleming said before, James Bond is the heterosexual male fantasy. It's kind of what embodies the character and embodies the stories that the character gets into. And this is very much a confused, angsty character that they've sort of created, which isn't necessarily in itself is a bad thing, but it's a bad James Bond because James Bond shouldn't have any doubt. He should just be id, and that's it.
He's the id.
He fucks the girl.
You
know why he fucks the girl? Because he's James Bond.
Because he's Batman.
Because he's Bond.
Yeah, exactly.
James Bond. And there's not many characters that you can just say, oh, well, because he's James Bond. You got Indiana Jones, you have Han Solo, you have Batman, and you have James Bond.
I did see a 60-year-old Indiana Jones frog splash like 4 grown-ass Nazis in their prime.
But is that...
Over the top.
Is that Indiana Jones? Is that Indiana Jones? Is that Indiana Jones?
No!
Because I mean, personally... The Indiana Jones that I know at that age...
The Indy that I know and love?
The Indy that I know at that age would be Junior! Junior, you stop that right now!
Oh, God.
Am I wrong? He should have grown into a very classy Sean Connery
very classy
librarian that should be telling his son, hey,
a professor or something.
Exactly. He should be in the books. He should
teaching stories.
He should be talking to his son, or passing the torch, saying, "Hey, I've been there. Don't go into that cave." Look, just
the
tell
boulder
me,
thing.
It's not.
Through it.
It's not a good look, son. That's what the movie should have been.
Archaeology is not all it's cracked out to be. When I was a kid, I almost died getting chased by goons just for a cross that I had to get when I was an older person.
Where do you think I got afraid of snakes was? It was I got tossed in the fucking freak show goddamn thing because I was running when I was part of the Boy Scouts. Like I wasn't doing shit. I just saw some and they were robbing fucking things. I was like, no, that shit belongs in a museum. Fuck the natural people who owns this shit. No, it belongs in the Western Civilization Museum.
Belongs in the Western Museum.
So that's what he should have been. And him still fighting Nazis in like the 50s. It's like, hey. Let it go. They lost. So I don't consider that necessarily Indiana Jones. I don't even think Harrison Ford really considers it.
So
Indiana Jones.
That's how you kind of feel about the Craig ones.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Craig ones. You're gonna look back, and I think it's gonna be just like any Bond, where there are movies that are good. There are movies that are good movies, and I think. The Craig ones are good movies. I think they're bad James Bond films, which is different, and I think, James Bond is something that has adapted with the times, but, he has to get the girl. Like
he has to get the girl. He has to drive the cars, man.
Yeah, and it's shallow, but James Bond is shallow. It's it's candy and it's cannon fodder and it's fun.
And it's camp a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun, and Craig, they're trying to really sort of, make it dirty and rough, and it's like
they're trying to Jason Bourne it up.
Yeah, they're trying to Jason Bourne it up. They're trying to make
when I first saw Jason Bourne, I was like saying to myself, and I said to myself, they're gonna try to make James Bond like this.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say
kind of gritty.
Well, I mean, the Bourne movies were. I like the first one, and it's a good spy movie. And
the first and the third seemed like the same fucking movie.
Well, the third one wasn't that good. At least I don't think so. I thought it was a little overly long, and I thought
the second one was a bit wonky too.
Well, I think the two sequels tried to. The first one was like, oh shit, it's like MacGyver the Spy. And it was cool. And it was literally just MacGyver the Spy. And then they did, and the sequels, what sequels do, they try to make it bigger and better. And you can't really make that character bigger and better because what really works about him is that, oh shit, I just have to figure some small shit out. And you can't be like, all right, well, let me it's one thing like picking a lock with the lint in your goddamn pocket. It's another thing, diffusing a nuclear bomb with the lint in your pocket. And that's what they sort of tried to sort of go into with the sequels. And then they just tried to. It was just too much what they tried to do. And they were successful. And they're well-made movies. They're not really bad. Just
Yeah, production-wise, they're all top
and
class.
and it was at a time where James Bond was in a transition phase into kind of where it was and where they kind of wanted to go. And
yeah, that was before the Craig. That was ones like the Bourne movies definitely came out before the Craig switch over.
It was pretty much just right in between.
Yeah, it was like right. I mean, it wasn't right after Die Another Day because Die Another Day came out in 2006, so it had to be like 2000. I'm sorry, 2002. That's why it's like, and Casino Royale was in 2006, yeah. So that's like a 4-year period. So it was. I think the Bourne
was somewhere in between.
I think it might have been 2005.
Yeah, somewhere in between. I think even before that, because
I think you're right.
They had enough time to sort of
kind of tailor it after that shit.
And I mean, I think there's enough room for both movies because they're both spy movies, but they're completely different, types of movies. And there's, you don't. One of them is pure fantasy. The other is very much a.
What was the first one called?
Bourne Identity. And the Bourne movies are very much a.
Holy shit! That shit came out in 2002. Yeah. So that shit was still like right in the same time. I didn't even.
Well, it came out.
Didn't even think about it.
I think it came out, just at the same year.
At the same year as Die Another Day,
which makes perfect sense because they're in completely different opposite.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about it, like them being so close together.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, especially what they did and why they did it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just. I think it's sort of the direction they did, even with their. I think people aren't going to look back on the Craig movies with the same sort of nostalgia because you go to his movies and they're not fun. You don't really get taken away and swept up by the fantasy and the romance of the movie itself. It's just kind of a movie that you saw. That's just kind of what happens with the movies, the way they're made. They're
kind of forgettable at the time.
Exactly, and I don't think people are going to really go back and be like, oh shit, no, you need it's not going to be something where you're going to go to somebody like, oh no, you need to sit down and watch this, and you're going to enjoy this on sort of a different level because it's just that much sort of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And you can do those with those other Bonds because they're fantastic. They are B movies, and there's nothing wrong with a movie being a B movies. Like those are the movies that kind of endure because you can throw a party to that. You can watch that all over the holidays and be like, oh no, like bring your kids. We can sit down and watch all these movies in a row. Yeah, it's going to be sort of, over sexualized, but don't worry, there's no nips. It's all good.
No nips, no hips.
But it'll be fun for the adults because they'll get the sex jokes and the violence. It'll be fun for the kids because there's gadgets, cars, and they're fun. And if the kids get the sex jokes, well, it's too late for them anyway. So don't worry about it. You're gonna go back and watch the Daniel Craig's movies, and you'll just be like, oh, well, that was depressing.
I don't even think it's appropriate for kids to watch. Like, he slowly chokes the life out of somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Under the steps. I don't think Bond and any of the older ones. I mean, I'm sure he's choked people out, but it didn't look as gritty.
The way they're shot, it's dark, it's dirty. They strap him to a chair and beat him in his balls with a tied rope. Like, what type of fucking shit is that?
Yeesh.
Yeah, it happened.
I remember.
I mean, it's a long.
I mean, he laughed. He played it like a pro.
Well, no, he played it like an asshole because James Bond should hang out with the type of people that will classily tie him to a metal slab, have a giant laser, try and slowly cut it in half.
It slowly cuts you in half.
I mean, there's a level of class here where it's like, yeah, I know you're a spy, but you know what? I have a perfect contraption to kill you with that is is gonna leave you a beautiful corpse.
You gotta do the Scott Evil. I can come back and
know,
get my gun from upstairs and bam right now.
No, you just don't get it, Scott. You just don't fucking get it. You know, there are rules to this thing that we are all a part of, and that we should all have a mutual respect for each other for. I'm not just gonna put you in a dank, dirty fucking thing with a hot, like, what type of fucked up torture is that? Like, I'm gonna ruin a good chair, tie you to the chair, and then find a rope, wrap a knot, and then just do this. Like, what the fuck is that?
The swing.
Like, what the fuck is that shit about? It doesn't make any sense, and none of this makes any sense. But like, there's no visual real language outside of, oh shit, Bond's naked, which is, I guess, part of the Daniel Craig appeal also. And I guess it's for the ladies. And, you know, I mean, fuck, with Christina Royale, he's the fucking the beefcake coming out of the ocean, which is
that. And I found that so fucking
well. I mean,
like, stupid.
it's for,
and that's when I noticed. I was like, yo, he's way too Diesel to be Bond.
The Daniel Craigs are definitely made more for women than any other Bond.
And it's funny, Skyfall made 879 million and box office. The only one that ever even got close to that is Thunderball.
Well, you
making
also
820.
You also have to remember that, like, I mean, I think the cultural impact, and a lot of people like to talk about the money and stuff like that. And I think if you look at some of the adjusted rates, Skyfall is the biggest one. But, you know, also movie tickets cost a lot more. A very good thing to look at is, like, the amount of ticket sales that actually sold for some of these movies.
Well, box office. That was the box office number.
Yeah, but, like, what I'm saying is, you know, now a single fucking ticket can cost $20.
Well, I mean, so, I've seen things where it's really about the kind of budget they did. Like, the budget for it looks like it might have been 200 million,
yeah.
And they grossed 879. So
yeah, they all pretty much make money.
I'm pretty sure they all made their money back, but in various amounts. Because like Quantum of Solace, that was right before it, 2008, its budget was 200 million, and it only made 514 million. So only we're talking in numbers like this. But what I'm saying is, in terms of just like how successful it was definitely one of the more successful ones. I mean, of course, none of the Bond movies dropped over 200 million gross. Like, it's all 200 and higher.
Well, like, Skyfall is the most successful, but I think nobody's going to reminisce about Skyfall.
I'm not.
I mean, and I could be wrong. We could be eating our words, but I've never, like, a perfect example. I can introduce somebody who's never heard. I wouldn't say never heard, but never actually sat down and watched a James Bond movie and say, hey, look, sit down and watch the Sean Connery one. And they'll come back to me and be like, wow.
Would you for somebody who hasn't seen one, would you recommend
Skyfall?
Well, I mean, which ones would you recommend? Thunderball?
I would say, no, start from Dr. No.
Dr. No?
And like, if it was just like, all right,
if you got somebody one chance, if you ruined it for
I would say go watch Goldfinger. If you don't like Goldfinger, then you're not gonna like James Bond. Don't bother.
I don't know. Like, personally, if I had one movie to give somebody to go like, yo, you're either gonna like this or this is gonna completely turn you off from there, I would definitely probably give them like a fucking Pierce. A Pierce one, maybe, like...
No, you have to, like, give him Goldfinger, because Goldfinger
is... But, see, I love Goldfinger, but it's slow in the beginning.
But it isn't, because, like, Goldfinger probably has one of the best openings.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not gonna doubt that.
And it's such a good opening that it's actually a trope now, but you actually see, like, people are going to recognize, oh, shit, a spy coming out of a wetsuit into a fucking tuxedo. And they're going to be like, oh, so this is the thing that came from that? And, you know, the movie is so infused in our popular culture that a lot of people don't even realize that this is what they're referencing. So, and after they see it, like, that movie has every single element of the James Bond.
I don't see, that's why I'd also say maybe, like, GoldenEye. GoldenEye is one of those movies that it hits on all cylinders.
It hits. GoldenEye is really good, but I think GoldenEye is still a bit too modern, and I think you have to. To me, you have to start sort of from the beginning because like you can see the sort of evolution of this, and like GoldenEye is very much a quote unquote evolved James Bond movie where and if you show somebody the old
then Diamonds Are Forever then.
Well, Diamonds Are Forever. It's a good one, but
it's still, like made in it's like made was
it's 71, but like Diamonds Are Forever, like
it's 70s, so it's like fun.
But like the Diamonds Are Forever, it's very much it's
silly. Give me Willard White.
It's silly and sort of campy, and if you're not necessarily adjusted to the Bond flavor, it's gonna come off as sort of corny, and you have to sort of. It's either you buy this world and you're going to go on for the ride, and if you don't. And if you don't buy and you can't get into GoldenEye, you're not going to get into anything. Because GoldenEye sets up all of those standards. The Dr. No and Russia with Love, they're still trying to figure out.
Because I would never recommend From Russia with Love for anybody.
No,
It works too slow.
Well, From Russia with Love is like that's a James Bond movie where you have to go back because that's a different James Bond movie, and that's one of the favorite things I have where they really don't have a lot of the sort of James Bond tropes that we kind of know of now. It is very much more of a spy movie. Like From Russia with Love is sort of Jason Bourne in its day, and there isn't as much panache and.
Then I would definitely say Thunderball because Goldfinger is good.
But Thunderball ratchets it up a little bit. Again,
I know it's awesome.
It is awesome.
It's like
it is awesome.
Well, see, the big water fight.
No, it's
literally having one of the more. I would say out of anyone, I want to make a video about that, like the strongest female protagonist in all Bonds because I felt it had almost the strongest, the female counterpart to Spectre. I forgot her name with the red hair.
The sexy one who's just dead.
Who's just dead, but who's actually like ridiculously smart. She knew exactly what she was doing.
She's a female James Bond who used his sexuality against him, and
she's the only one that repelled the charm.
She flipped the script. Like that's what she did. Script. She's like, oh word. Well, I know you got that magic dick, but I got that power you. So what are you gonna do about that? But again, like Thunderball, if you don't. Thunderball is fun because like they with Thunderball
that was a ride.
They're able to go bigger without going way too over the top, and like the way they went over the top and the spectacle they used with the underwater fight scene at the end, it was more of like you can just sit there and wonder like wow, they actually put an entire fucking crew underwater to shoot.
A quarter got the sharks in there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, barring the actual story, anything going on, just the marvel of wow. And in 1965, they had underwater waterproof cameras. They organized a set of at least 50 guys, all in scuba gear, fighting each other, cutting lines, seeing the bubbles, and motherfuckers like. And that's just the people on camera. There had to be like support crew behind
hundreds of people around.
That's what I'm saying. Like just the spectacle of that, and and how they shot it, where like they'll go tight in and you can see it, but then they'll come out and you see the whole scope of like
chaos.
Oh shit! These fuckers are coming. They actually parachuted down to the shit.
They parachuted down.
This is 1965. There's no extreme sports. There's no like. X Games and ESPNs and fucking crazy people.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like Thunderball,
but Thunderball is like it's too much. Like if you're not prepared for this, you might just get overwhelmed. Because I mean it is, and where Goldfinger is just slow enough, where there's just enough action, where there's just enough fun henchmen, where you have the pussy galore in it. That if you're able to say, all right, I'm on board for this ride, this is sort of what the flavor of the ride's going to be. Everything else after that is like, okay, you can roll with the punches. Where before you know, it's like trying to jump into a hard sci-fi novel if you've never read sci-fi before. You know, or, you know, trying to jump into an RPG if you've never played an RPG before. Like, sometimes it just might be too much to really sort of, you know, chew on your first sitting. And Thunderball, and that's why I love Thunderball, because Thunderball is that volume turned up, but, you know, just sort of half a click where they're like, you know what, we figured out kind of what we like in Goldfinger, but let's just turn up the volume on that a little bit. And they did the same thing with You Only Live Twice, where they turn it up a little bit more. So that's where I would say. I would say start with Goldfinger. If you like Goldfinger,
I think they said Dr. No.
But Dr. No is a bit too slow.
It's
also.
slow.
And you know, Dr. No is.
I like Dr. No.
Dr. No is great, but Dr. No, you know, again, like, you know, Goldfinger aged really well. You know, with the effects, with the stunts, with everything. Dr. No, it's dated in some of its effects. Like you said, the dragon. It's a jeep with the flamethrower. You know, like, and especially with sort of viewers these days, where they'll look at something and not be able to take it on face value and roll with it. They'll just say, "Oh, well, that's just stupid. I'm not going to watch it." They're going to check out. And you know, that's Dr. No. It was 1962. Like, you know, there's literally limits in their capabilities of what they could do on screen. So it's too early, you know, in that sense, you know. And if it was somebody who
actually had like appreciation,
that
would like sit down and give us something.
Yeah, doesn't mind watching old movies from, you know, just any movie that was before.
Those movies from like the 60s.
Exactly.
So, like,
you know,
I mean, I can't. I don't really know too many young dudes that can sit down and like, watch this.
And you know,
from 1965.
And it's a fucking sin, because it's like, no, you should watch these movies because they're good.
And you should know.
And
you should fucking know.
Not you should know, but like, these things are really a part of our culture. Like, American culture is completely devoid of almost anything. Our movies are pretty much the only thing we can really give to the world that doesn't sort of destroy it. You know, everything else is pretty fucking toxic.
I don't know, man. They can destroy films, man. They can go back and remaster.
No, I'm not saying
make Hayden Christensen next to
I'm not saying
Obi-Wan, young Hayden Christensen.
No, I mean literally destroy the earth. Whether it's like, you know, horrible climate change, obesity, poison. You know, our films are
on obesity.
Our films are the only thing that, you know, you can sort of give to somebody and say, hey, look, this was sort of made from an American production company, and this is going to bring joy into your life. Like, that's without any ill side effects. You can just put it in, and like, you can sort of escape and enjoy. And you know, and these movies really do affect our culture and our belief systems. And you know, not just James Bond, but just our movie industry in general. So it's something that, you know, it's a history book. You know, it's very much a text, and you know, you get to learn a lot about American culture, what it was, and how
really
it's
American
evolved.
Culture.
You do.
Not all of them are. I'm pretty sure most of them.
None of them are set in America, but you can tell.
Were they even American films? I don't think so.
Well,
I think they're British films.
Broccoli, they were produced in London. Like, they did a lot of soundstage on London. They did a lot of on location sites in the Bahamas. For like the early
runs. A lot of them took place in Bahamas and stuff.
But I think Broccoli, I want to say, yeah, United Artists. Yeah, that's an American film company. And Aeon Productions. So, I mean, it was
distributed in Montreal as well.
I mean, like, they usually premiere in the UK.
Yeah, well, because he's like a hero there.
Well, he's the British spy. Like, so, I mean, it's, you know, and don't get me wrong, you know, James Bond is English. MI6, he's English. But these are things that are part of our fabric. And I think probably the only really good thing.
Like, look at that picture.
Yeah, I want to get these fucking
these posters.
I want to get these posters. These posters are fucking fantastic.
Yeah. That one in particular is like.
Well, really I want fucking not Dr. No, but From Russia with Love, where he's
with the.
Yeah. Where he got just like two bitches around his leg. It's like, oh, I guess this is a man that's doing something right. And I mean, I would want to do this, but this just seems wrong. Right, in the gypsy fucking fight. Freaking the gypsy fight. Holy shit.
Yeah, you get to decide, Bond son.
Oh.
You gotta fight a pure out and out gypsy
Oh.
woman fight for the affections of James Bond when he ends up fucking both of them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're like sewing his clothes and giving him food.
Oh yeah, and you know he has a sniper rifle in the briefcase.
That's right.
Yeah.
Poor Karim Bey.
Indeed.
I like Karim Bey.
And he was classy.
He was classy.
And you know what's real tragic? Like that actor died like I think before the film was released.
Karim Bey.
Yeah, it's sad, but yeah. Same bad channel, same bad channel.
Yeah, well, I mean, that ends this long discussion. I'm calling it a discussion.
Yeah.
About kind of my feelings about Bond, and like I hope from time to time we can have these kind of discussions, have like videos where we could sit down and talk about a topic. I don't know. I would say I'm kind of weird when it comes to things. I watch a lot of things. I know a lot of weird topics and cartoons and references and things like that. And a lot of my friends get it too. That's why they're my friends, because we're all kind of screw loosey. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening, and leave your comments in the box below, right down there somewhere. I don't know. I can't point to.
Well, go see the movie and give us your 2 cents.
Yeah, and I mean, if we haven't sparked your interest in any of the James Bond movies, you're dead. Check your pulse. Look in the mirror and make sure you can see yourself, because you're fucking dead. You fucking robots!
Well, hollowed out volcano later.
Hollowed out
The
volcano.
first hollowed out volcano later.
Before Dr. Evil made it cool and or funny.
Ejector seats.
Ejector seats. Fucking
You realize this thing came from someplace. There was a time prior to ejector seats, and now it's a common thing. But there was a time where there was no ejector seats. Somebody was like, "Hey, wait a second. What if I had a car, and if somebody's like ignoring you, and you can press a button?"
Well, also real life jetpack. The only real life jetpack there actually was.
Real life fucking small mini helicopters with missiles.
Real life fucking
underwater car
that turned into a submarine. I mean, it wasn't. You couldn't do it forever.
Real life pre ESPN Extreme Sports, before Extreme Sports was a thing. Frogmen.
There's a lot of Bond stuff that like predates a lot of the stuff that everyone considers to be cool and not. And that's what I'm saying. If this discussion kind of didn't spark your interest, I don't know. You probably don't like Bond. Don't go watch Spectre. Don't go watch any of them. You fucking jerk. But it doesn't matter anyway. I don't care. So, Shanghai20YouTube.com. Bolo.
Crossing.
Bolo.
Crossing.
Don't cross the streams. Take it easy, guys. See ya.